Ah, here we go. Last lesson of the entire book. You stuck it out. Awesome. Good for you. Gonna finish this thing up today. All right. This is something again that Saxon does over and over and over and over again through like 4 years. This class, pre-algebra 1 and 2. So don't worry about getting this perfectly, but just be aware of it and get ready because it's going to come next year again. And it's going to come the next year, and 2. So the faster you get this going, the better you'll be off. Okay, let's talk about volume. Remember we talked about volume before? We've done one dimension before, right? Like how many feet is this, whatever. How many feet long is this wall? That's like, you'll go something like this. It'll be, oh, the wall is 20 feet long. Now, if somebody says, okay, well, here's a room here that's, it's 10 by 10. What's the area of that room? You go, okay, 10 times 10 is 100, and that's going to be square feet with a 2 because it's 2 dimensions, all right? This has not only a height, it has not only a width, we could say, it also has 3 dimensions to this thing. So it's the width times the base times the height. So that's what we're looking at. And this is the formula for the volume of a cylinder. That is it. Just write that down and memorize it. You will use it again for the next 3 years. All right. A cylinder can, by the way, it doesn't have to be like a can with a circular top and a bottom or a base. We'll call it a base. It can also be. It can have a triangle as a base. And as long as it's the same top and bottom, you could have a rectangle or a square as the base, like a box of crackers or something like that, gluten free. So a cylinder could be anything. All you need to know to figure out the volume of something like this, in other words, how many cubes fit into this thing, is you need to know the area of the base, which is this thing, and we're assuming by default that this thing is exactly the same thing on the bottom as well. You don't need to do it twice, just once. What's the area of this base? And you multiply it by the height, and that's it. There we go. Okay. Now we've done layer cakes before where we said, what's the volume of this, thing? You go, well, the cake itself was 8 by 10, so it's 80. But let's see, it's 4 layers high, so 80, it'd be not just 80 cubic inches, it'd be 4 of those, so 80 times 4, 320 cubic inches or cubic miles, or however big the cake is, okay. Same thing here, area of the base times the height. Well, the thing is, you got to know the area of a circle. What's the formula for the area of a circle? You should know this by now. Okay, the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. So in these, you're going to need to know what the radius is. You're going to use 3.14 for pi. And this must be the last lesson coughing spell. So that's it. That's the area of the circle. Then you multiply it by, let's say this is 10 feet high or whatever. Here's a guy right here standing next to it. This is a large can of tuna. And of course it was not, ecologically friendly, friendly. So we got chunks of dolphins in there too who got stuck in the net. Poor dolphins. They're sad dolphins. Okay. Anyway. All right. That's all you need to do. Area of the base times the height. If it's a box of crackers, what's the volume? Area of the base times the height. If it's a giant chunk of cheese with a triangular top and bottom, area of the base times the height. The circle area is the toughest to figure out because you got to use that formula. Rectangles, the width times the length. Triangle, width or the base times the height divided by 2. That's it. This is the hardest one, so let's do it. Okay. The diameter of this cylinder is 20. The height is 10. What's the volume? Okay, well, let's just put it. The height's 10, and feel free to get like a pencil and do this to your books if you want to. If the diameter of this thing is 20, well, we don't want diameter in this thing. We want radius, right? So if that's true, we can just go, okay, well, this radius is 10, right? If the diameter is 20, okay. So what's the volume? We just go back. Area of the base times the height, okay? Well, we know it's going to be something times 10, right? Because it's the height is 10. What's the area of a base of a circle with a radius of 10? Well, don't forget, the area is equal to pi times the radius squared. We can go ahead and just put 3.14 for the pi. The radius is 10. 10 times 10, in other words, squared, is 100. Well, 3.14 times 100, you just twice over, and we have 314. Okay, right? All right. So the volume of this thing is going to be 314 times 10, which is just 3,140. In other words, if this thing were a layer cake and this is one layer of it, don't cut it like that, then there would be 314, yeah, that's right, cubes, that would fit in this thing if you measured them all up, approximately. Now, there's not just one layer, though. There are 10 layers. That's why we'd find the volume of the whole thing, right? So we can multiply this by 10. Boom, there's your answer. Okay, all right, let's take a look at this. Oh, practice problem. That's only one of them. Okay, give it a whirl, and it's on the last page, page 648 in my book. So pause it and try it. Okay, this is a can of soup. The diameter is 8 and the height is 12. Okay, well, let's see here. The diameter is 8 and the height is 12. There's our 12. Let's see, diameter is 8. Well, let's just do that then. If the diameter is 8, that means the radius is 4, right? Okay, well, the volume of something like this is the area of the base times the height. That's 12. Okay, so let's just do it. The volume is something times 12. Okay, now we need to find the area of the base. Well, what's the area of the base? The formula for the area of the base is pi times the radius squared. Well, 4 squared is 16, and we can say 16 times 3.14. That'll give us 50.24. That's what goes in here. In other words, the volume of one layer like this is going to be the 50.24 cubes will fit in there. But we don't want just one layer, we want 12 layers. Okay, so if that's supposed to be a 4 there. So if you were to, multiply this all out, 50 times 12 is 600, and then of course the 0.24, if you did all the arithmetic, would be 602.88. Now this looks like it's centimeters, so we're going to put centimeters, but let's put a 3 there to indicate that it's cubed. And that's it. Okay. Well, that is it, my friends, for algebra, 7-6. Next year will be algebra, and I wish many blessings upon you, and thanks for sticking this whole thing out. And just one more thing. When I was your age, I was a bad guy a lot of the time. I actually went to church a lot. I even got baptized when I was about 8 years old. Don't think I can really know what I was doing. Many years later, I heard a preacher talking, and he was talking about Jesus and what he'd done for people on the cross, die for their sins, and I realized that I needed to ask Jesus to forgive me of my sins and just to believe in him and put my faith in him. And I did that. So I encourage you, if you have not done that in your life, that you do that. It is an awesome, great thing. If you're not sure how, just look up the book of John in the Bible. John chapter 3 is a great conversation that Jesus has with a guy named Nicodemus, and he tells him what to do. Okay, really what Jesus wants you to do is, because he died for the sins of the world, including you, he wants you to just believe that he died on the cross for your sins, he rose again, and you ask him to forgive you of your sins. You believe in your heart that he died and rose from the grave, ask him to forgive you, he will do that. So he loves young people like yourself. And I'm kind of a fan of you guys too. So anyway, but again, blessings upon you guys. Hope you have a great summer. If you're doing this in summer, I'm looking forward to doing this again if you want to next year with the Algebra 1/2. So hope to see you there. Many blessings, and have a great rest of the day, rest of the year. See ya.